Hello everyone and happy October and happy birthday month to me! Today we are going to talk about some of our September favorites and we are rolling into fall, which is my absolute favorite time of year. So I'm pretty pumped about that. So we are going to go over some favorites, some honorable mentions, and some shit that really didn't work out, which is funny because that doesn't happen to me a lot. Like there's not very much I get and I'm like, oh my god, what is this? This is disgusting. Kill it with fire. So we are going to get into it right away, and honestly the first thing I have is a little bit lame, but I really like it. My mom has a friend in the States and they had gone to Ulta together to grab some things for me, and she picked this out for me. It's literally just a pink ridiculous bow headband. I see lots of YouTubers with these all the time and it kind of makes me laugh because I always think, god damn, those are cute, where do those even come from? So when my mom said that Jeannie had picked this out for me, I really liked it and I've been wearing it on my head a lot. I don't think my dogs like it, but that's okay. So again, thank you for this, Jeannie. My next product is something I am very, very, very late to the game on. I totally recognize that I am late to the game on it, and it is the Balm Instain Blushes. I didn't realize how much I don't have blushes with good staying power. I didn't really realize it until I was wearing the Orgasm blush from NARS all the time, and by like noon it was gone and I looked a little bit sickly because my foundation would be basically the only thing I had on. So these Instain Blushes, I started wearing these instead. I actually got these from Marshall's. So I got one in the shade Lace and one in the shade Toil. And I actually got these for I think like $9.99. I think they're normally like $25 Canadian. Again from Marshall's, and they are amazing and they actually hold up all day. So if you have that kind of problem as well, or you touch your face a lot and wear your product off, these have been really, really awesome, especially considering I found them at Marshall's. Another really big love I have been having this month is the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions. Sorry, I'm holding up the wrong one. This is the Emerald Obsessions. I've been using this one the most. I have the Sapphire as well as the Amethyst Obsessions, but this is definitely my favorite one so far. The colors are just kind of different, and I don't know if it's because I've just been really into greens lately, but it's just not something that is currently in my collection, and it's really something I've been digging. Someone in my comment section, a subscriber of mine, did make a comment to me that there was actually more product in these than the Modern Renaissance, which I really like, and these are only about $35 Canadian, whereas Modern Renaissance can be anywhere from $45 to $50, and those type palettes are like $50 and up. So it's actually a really good value, and I really love these. So this one is the Sapphire Obsessions and the Amethyst Obsessions. To be honest with you, I thought I was going to be all over the Amethyst Obsessions and using it all the time, and I actually haven't been. When I did the swatches, I wasn't in love with it, but when I started to actually play with it, I did like it a lot better. If anyone is interested, I would love to do some looks, like do maybe a week series of Sapphire and then do a week series of Emerald with all different types of looks of what you can get out of them. So if you could let me know if you're interested in that, I would be happy to do it. So my next product is actually the Good Sport palette, and I haven't played with this long enough. I just got it earlier this week to say if it's a favorite or not, but I do really like it for fall. The specific favorite out of this palette is actually the shade here called Ebb. It is a very vibrant green gold, and I don't feel like I have anything like this in my collection. I have been pulling out some very different looks from this. It is kind of all over the place, where there's like purples, there's warm tones, there's cool tones, there's some greens, again there's the purples and browns, and there's like some burnt oranges in here. It is a very good fall palette, and I'm going to probably in the next week or so be doing a fall favorites video to go over some of the other things I've really been loving and really love to gravitate towards in the fall. So one more favorite and then we will be moving on to the honorable mentions. So the last favorite I have is the Caution Mascara from Hourglass. I'm pretty sure I have talked about this before, so it should come as no surprise. So I know this is a little bit more pricey than most people are willing to pay for mascara, especially because it's really just black goop you put on your lashes. But I have a really hard time with keeping the curl in my lashes and keeping the volume in my lashes, and I've noticed a major improvement using this. If you are not into mascara that's a little bit more difficult to take off, I don't know if this is for you or if your lashes are really sensitive, but it really works for me and I really love it. Okay, so we have 3 honorable mentions, and number 1 is the Too Faced Razzle Dazzle Berry palette. And this is specifically an honorable mention just based on this one crazy ass shade here, which I really love. And I've been swatching it and playing with it so much it's starting to roll up. So it is the pink on the bottom. The palette in general is very, very effortless. All the colors go together fantastically. And you can totally see that like I've been in this palette and like loving it and making sure it's my bitch for sure. I know it's a little bit more expensive. Again, it's around that $35 range, but to me it was worth it. I've been reaching for it a lot. Not enough to call it a favorite, but it's definitely up there. So another one that I have here, and nobody try and kill me because it's Tarte, like let's get over it and act like adults. We buy makeup, not drama. So this is the Pineapple of My Eye palette, and this one here I have also spoken about before, but this is probably the best formulation of Tarte eyeshadows I've ever had in my life from them. I like that you do have your neutrals up top, and then you have some more colors sprinkled through the bottom. There's warm tones, there's cool tones, and then there is 2 blushes, a highlight, a bronzer, and a nice mirror at the top here, which is hard to see, but there you go, it's kind of there. I know that Tarte gets a really bad rap specifically for their holiday gift sets, but if you are interested in any of them and you're like, maybe it's time for something new, I actually do recommend this. It is a new formula. It must be, because this one is so much better than anything I own. Like, that includes regular line. It also includes their limited edition stuff. My final honorable mention is actually the NYX Swear By It palette. I know that this has not gotten a whole ton of rave reviews, but hold on, what's the best way for me to do this? And I know a lot of people are not really loving it because it reminds them of that really old school e.l.f. 100 pan palette, which is like flat and the shadows are not very good. If you were on YouTube circa like 2013, 2014, 2015, it was all over the place. I think this is a brilliant dupe for anyone who doesn't want to pay for like Born to Run and the Emerald palettes. I actually was thinking about doing a video on how many palettes I could dupe with this, because I look at this and I'm like, oh, there's pretty much the Sapphire palette. This is pretty much the Safari palette from Natasha Denona. Like, I actually wanted to go in and really play with things and see how far I could get it. I've used this a few times. I was taking it to the gym with me and I was really happy with it. It was working well. It was lasting throughout the day and gave me a lot of really good options, and it was really light. And honestly, the best part about this is I actually got it for free off of Look Fantastic because of you lovely people and using my referral code for Glossybox, which I didn't even know was happening. So thank you for that. And now for the fails. There's kind of one that is in between a fail and an honorable mention. I can't really decide, and that is the Mar palette from ColourPop. And the reason I say that, I'm wearing it today, and I don't know if today was just a bad makeup day. Well, I actually do know today was just a bad makeup day, but I couldn't get these to work. This shade here, I was very disappointed in. It was really, really patchy. It wouldn't stick to my eyelid, and that's with wearing primer. I ended up using this blue shade, this shade, which is like a light brownish orange, and a little bit of this dark brown. So there's only 2 mattes in this palette, and then this one is the blue is kind of like a satin. And I'm not that person that's like, oh my god, there's only 2 mattes, like I can't even live. But the 2 mattes that are in here don't make sense. That's more my problem. This one is too light to really deepen up the crease, and this one is too dark. Where do you go from there? So I can't quite call it a fail because it does have very pretty colors. The pigmentation is nice on most of them, but I also don't really love it, and I'm kind of still on the fence about how I feel about it. Now for the true fails. If you follow me fairly frequently, you know I've already done a review on this, and you already know that this did not go well. This is a 6-pan blush and highlight palette from Kat Von D called the Fetish palette. which is going to be returned to Sephora smartly because it's shit. There's no pigmentation in the blushes. In these two blushes, at this one, there's too much pigmentation and it's like putting some scary clown makeup on. And then the 3 highlights are essentially just glitter. The packaging feels cheap, it looks cheap, and I don't really like it. I actually basically had almost an entire Sephora haul that was a complete and utter failure. So the next product I got in that haul was the Marc Jacobs See-Quins. And although I appreciate a punny name, this is basically like a potted infallible, like the L'Oreal Infallible type eyeshadow. And this is in the shade Glamethyst. And with touching it, it starts to fall apart. On my finger, it is chunky. And it is also chunky in the swatch. Chunky and patchy. So I did actually try and blend this out as well last night. Like I really tried to play with it and thought maybe it's just me, maybe I can't get it to work. And this Marc Jacobs Sequence is just shit because it blends out after you get the chunks off to basically like a weird purplish gray that's not doing anybody any favors either. Last but not least, in my products I don't like in this month is the Sephora Midnight Wishes palette. So it's a 16 eyeshadow palette and I kind of bought this on a whim in the same haul as the Fetish palette, and when you're looking at it, it looks super, super cute. It's little small eyeshadows. They have a little star embossment on them. I can get on board with that. Like, I really can. But truth be told, Sephora needs to pull its shit together with its pigmentation. Like, truthfully does. Because this is total shit. It's like all the same color in the swatch. You have to dig your finger in to get any color at all. So those are 3 shimmers that you think would be super, super bright. And I had to scrape the pans. And they look chunky and they just aren't working for me. This was only about $35, and if you're starting with makeup and you don't like anything that's super pigmented, I know Chloe Morello actually made a very valid point that not necessarily having something that is super pigmented isn't always a good thing, and not everyone likes that, and I can appreciate that, but I like working with things that are easy to work with. They are heavily pigmented so that I don't have to make a lot of effort to get the look that I want. So this will also be going back. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate this month the fact that I had almost as many hates as I had loves, and that's actually kind of funny to me because, like I said, that doesn't happen very often. On the plus side, at least I will be getting some of my money back from Sephora after this severe failure of a Sephora haul at the end there, and I probably will not be buying the Kat Von D Fetish palette, as I believe I'm going to have a lot of repeats in there, and I have just spent a ton of money on palettes recently. We are super close to 4,000 people subscribing to this channel, so if you are not, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I am happy to have you and happy to have you around. I will be doing a giveaway at 4,000, and I really love doing giveaways. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. I don't even know why. So me and my headband are going to be signing off. This is how you wear it, right?